king, I am not a god, I am Hump.
What's good, and welcome. Previously in Warframe we did the Yareli Prime build for level cap, and we did the Compressor Prime level cap. Even a while ago we did Yareli level cap, but now it's time for Yareli Prime build to take down level 9,199 steel path enemies in Warframe. First thing first, let me show you her performance at level cap. Let's go. Theater. And that's the power of Yareli Prime. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. As 79.9 of you watching and not subscribed, let me know in the comments below why you're not subscribed yet. Okay, next thing, every time I build my weapons and my warframes, I rely on my method called DVS, and I promise you, if you follow it, you can make a very powerful builds on your own. Now, if you don't like my methods, how I will proc viral animal strip enemies in today's video, it's okay. You can check this sheet right here. It can help you maneuver around my methods to find your own style, because we know in Warframe we can do things in many different ways. Next thing you need to learn is shields and shield gating. Let's start first what is shield and how exactly it works, because I believe, in my opinion, 79% of Thanos doesn't know how shield works, because actually the game doesn't tell you, but I will. Shields in Warframe, when you lose a bit of your shields, you need 1 second of not taking any damage to regenerate your shields. If you lose all your shields, you need 4 seconds to start regenerating your shields. But in all cases, you need to be away from taking any damage. So taking damage is the condition so you can regenerate your shields. Now, comes next the shield gating. What is shield gating in Warframe? When you receive a fatal blow, you don't die, my friend. You enter gate phase. Gate phase means you are invulnerable. You don't take any damage. But that invulnerability has a duration. That duration, capped at 2.5 seconds, except Hildrin, he can go for 3.5 seconds. Capped at 2.5 seconds for all other frames. And it's affected by how much shields you have. 1,150 shields equal to 2.5 seconds. So every time enemies hit you, you enter the gate, so you react. That's how DE gives you the opportunity to react. Now, next thing you need to learn is that how you actually shield gate and why we call it shield gating. Technically, every time we lose the shield and we enter the gate, we are invulnerable. We return our shields either with helmet abilities like Condemn, Pillage, or with like Warframe mods, for example, Brief Respite, and so on. So every time we take a blow, we cast an ability or we do something about it to regenerate our shields. But remember, when you're taking damage, you can't regenerate shields. Keep that in mind. And if you lose all your shields, you need 4 seconds, but the cap is 2.5 seconds. But Yareli can fill that gap, and we're going to talk about that next. But before that, Tano, remember to stick to the community guideline for comments, what to do, not to do, to keep it a constructive feedback in the comment section below, so everyone benefit or learn something, a veteran or a new player. Let's get started with the build. But first, as always, we take beginners friendly approach to explain her kit for Thanos trying to learn about her, or veterans who want to know about her. First, her passive is really powerful. Yareli gain 200% critical chance for secondary weapons when she has been moving for at least 1.5 seconds. You can bunny hop, you can run, you can roll, you can do whatever, but keep moving. That's the whole point of playing her, not camping. Now, C snares, her first ability. I will make it very simple for you. The more strength you have, you hit enemies, they are some sort of getting into a bubble, but the most important part about this ability is you make them damage vulnerable. The higher strength you have, the more damage vulnerability there will be, which is an amazing ability. Now it doesn't have an augment. Merlina, it's like your key drive, you just ride her and you will be immune to all sort of knockdowns and all that kind of stuff. And it has a damage reduction of 90%. Summon Muralina, a rideable creature of the waves, and the inspiration of Kid Ripe. Muralina protects Yareli by absorbing a large portion of incoming damage. The damage reduction is really good, but when you are on top of Muralina, you feel like so limited as you can use on your secondary weapon. And honestly, I don't like to ride her unless I'm going like for low mission or fast mission or open world or something like that would be good. Damage reduction is really good, but low to mid game at level cap it's really not good and doesn't worth even the investment in my opinion until DE decides how Warframes actually scales on EHP. Got two augments, Muralina Guardian. Enemies eliminated during sea snares heal 20% of Muralina health upon healing, gain 200% reload speed and fire rate on secondary weapons 20 seconds. That's really good. Low to mid game, thumbs up, and even in the end game you can benefit from the reload speed and fire rate. Now, loyal Muralina, Yareli no longer rides Muralina. Instead, Muralina follows her and casts Sea Snare, which makes enemies vulnerable on nearby enemies. 2 seconds cooldown. Really amazing, and it's my favorite augment on her. Aqua Blades is the one you're gonna replace for Helmith. Aqua Blades, really nice, really good. It's considered a nuking ability, in my opinion, but low game only because it doesn't scale anywhere in the end game. Surging Blades is the augment for it. When the ability is in use or cooldown to throw one blades, gain 10% damage when any Aqua Blades hits an enemy, no cost to throw with Muralina. Now don't get me wrong, Aqua Blades, they're nice and powerful and slash, but you're gonna be waiting for the ticks and waiting for the damage and like so much waiting honestly, and I don't think it's worth investing on or replace with the Helmith ability, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. Riptide. Drag enemies into a crushing maelstrom and then blow them away in a watery burst. Each enemy trapped in the vortex increase the burst damage. Really good ability, and with her signature weapon Compressor Prime, it's synergized like charm, and it got no augment right now. When it comes to Helmith, what Helmith would use in Muralina? Now, first thing first, you need to ask yourself, are you playing low to mid game or are you playing in the end game? Are you going to take her for low to mid game or are you going to take her to the end game? Because things get serious at level cap. You need to remember that after 1999 I start noticing a lot of reduction of energy drops, ammo drops. You need to keep that in mind, Tano, if you're trying to go to level cap. Also at level cap, enemies damage is insane. Okay, enemies EHP scales so hard. EHP, I mean the amount of overguard, the amounts of health, the amount of shield, or the amount of damage the enemies does. That's not EHP, but you get the point. So you need to keep all that in mind. So what Helmith ability you would go for? For example, I would recommend if you want to increase your melee damage, which I think she's just a secondary, guys. Come on, there is a lot of other melee frames, so I would say secondaries is the best. But anyway, you can go for Gloom. You can go for Wrathful Advance if you want to do red crits. You can go for Resonator from Octavia to charm enemies nearby, so you can save a little bit your Muralina so she casts more Sea Snares. You can go, for example, for Eclipse to do more damage reduction, and really good stuff actually on her, or you boost your damage. You can go for example, Roar. It's like a universal multiplicative damage, faction damage, and also it buffs the power of your abilities. You can also go for a larva to pull enemies or pool to pull enemies. You can go, for example, for if you want to make her invisible, you can go for evade if you're good at aiming at headshot, but you need to build her for full duration. Or you go for quiver if you're gonna be standing still. But remember, even with quiver, Muralina doesn't get into the invisibility, so honestly, I wouldn't go for invisibility with her, but yet it works. Muralina will die anyway at level cap, but if you want, you can just make Yareli invisible, and you keep recasting Muralina, and that's how you're pretty much going to survive anyway. So what I'm in the end, use any Helmith ability you want with her. Just remember, like, to use it in a style where you can survive and deal damage. You need to balance between dealing damage and surviving. That's the trick on getting to level cap. Playing her is really simple, friends. If you're gonna go Muralina, just try Muralina. If you have the augment, which I recommend, just cast her, and that's pretty much it. But the most powerful thing about Muralina, which makes Yareli a very powerful Warframe, is the 4 seconds time and vulnerability when you cast Muralina. So remember earlier when we said you need 4 seconds to start regenerating shields if you take no damage. And guess what? Time invulnerable 4 seconds. Right there. Plus, if you add, for example, let's say rolling guard, and you add, for example, like you use operator really quick, or you like pretty much if you pay attention to the game, you don't die. That's how I can tell you about Merlina. Now, when it comes to the augments, 2 Emerald Darkon shards to push the stacks of corrosive from 10 to 14, because I will be using her Compressa Prime, and the build is in the channel already. Okay, as Compressa is already viral, like built-in stats viral, adding corrosive to it, so we can armor strip enemies with 2 Emerald Darkon shards. How that works? Now, the corrosive by default 10 stacks, 80% armor strip. With 2 Emerald Darkon shards, we push the stacks of corrosive from 10 to 14 for 104% armor strip. Now, of course, you can run 1 Tau Forge, but you'll be at 98%. I don't like it. First, because I'm not fully armor stripping them. Secondly, I can't see the enemies, the ones I did armor strip. Because when you armor strip an enemy with yellow HP, which is armored enemies that have yellow HP, their HP become red. Like the corpus that doesn't have armor or the infested. Keep that in mind. Now, here you got Tau Forge, the Crimson Archon Shard for ability strength. Here you got the Crimson Archon Shard for ability duration. And here you got Tau Forge Ember Archon Shard for casting speed. You need casting speed a lot, honestly, but 75% was more than enough to survive a level cap. Now, when it comes to the previous video, I did Nourish. But as I said earlier, run any Helmeth ability you want. And I believe Helmeth is about style. What style and what content. There is no way anybody can tell you, oh, listen, this is it, use this. No, I don't believe that. I believe Helmeth abilities are an option to give a Warframe like what it's missing, or what you want to take the Warframe for. More damage, survivability, invisibility, depends. Okay, so decide which one you want. Brief Respite. Remember earlier we talked about shield gating. Brief Respite. Any ability I'll be casting, I will get portion of that energy I spent into shields. So every time I shield gate, I'll be using Merlina, consumes 25, which is not a lot, honestly, but it will return some of the shields, okay? And boom, 4 seconds invulnerable, Brief Respite will do the job. Trace Fortitude for strength and minus duration, Rolling Guard to cleanse myself, and of course, for the extra 3-second invulnerability, and Continuity for duration, Flow for energy max. We're running 898, baby. Really crazy. Fast Deflection, Redirection, Vigor, Vigilante Vigor. These are the combination of shield recharging, but these more towards the end game. If you planning on using her for the low to mid game, you don't need this. You can even run just Redirection and Arcane Aegis, and that's pretty much it. Now, what makes Arcane Aegis special that you can regenerate shields even if you are taking damage. And this is the only way in the whole game you can do that. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, I'm not talking about, for example, Condemn, Pillage, or whatever to get you your shields, or like shield gating, or regenerating shields, or like using an ability with Brief Respite. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Arcane Aegis is a straight access to regenerate your shields while you're taking damage. That's the power of it, and you don't need to do anything pretty much, as long as it triggers. Simple as that. Now, back to the story. If you're running like low to mid game, this build right here is perfect for you. And what you need to put in here, for example, more strength. If you're running, for example, any helmet ability requires strength, you can put more duration, you can put more range. Totally up to you. You can even build for more, let's say, damage reduction. It doesn't matter. Or more strength, lower efficiency, works good with shield gating. Look at that, 269. We're running 369, making enemies more vulnerable, whatever. But in the end game, my friend, things are different. Okay, keep that in mind. So that's why I run her with shield regenerating. So I deliver builds that works for everybody, not specific Thanos who knows how to iframe, how to move away, how to run, how to understand all the enemies. This is Kuvatar Kunyar, this is only fire, this no. This build works for everybody. Loyal Marina, this, or you can use the other one. It's totally up to you which one you want to go for. Depends on the weapon, depends on your style. As I always say, things always based on style, nothing written on a stone. Energize for energy, Arcane Aegis already talked about it. Prime Sure-Footed is where things gets weird. Now, if you're running low to mid game, you can take it off. You don't need it. Okay. But in the end game, it becomes really important. Now, Sure-Footed will work just fine. But my favorite is Hand Spring. 160% faster knockdown recovery will get the job done since you are regenerating and using Merlina for 4 seconds of vulnerability. So even if you get knocked down in the moment of shield gating, casting Merlina will save you right there. Okay. Otherwise, if you're running low to mid game, you can run any Exilus slot you want. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. It matters. What matters is what style, what helmet ability, what power you're trying to put into the table. Simple as that. The helmet ability I'm going to be using today is Condemn. Condemn casts a wave of energy that chains enemy where they stand. Each enemy held reinforced arrow shields. Very powerful. It gets you shields. As you can see here, shield per hit 255, duration 8.25 seconds, range increase 2.5 meter, but the range is 20 meters. So actually you don't need any range on this, but we don't really care about so much CC from Condemn, only the enemies that's in front of you. And you can use like Magus Lockdown or something like that. Compressor build is already in the channel. And Yareli Merlina, you cannot mod her. I hope that you one day consider reworking Yareli where we can mod Merlina. And maybe she start like having a different attacks. And we can fix her and like mod her, and let me know in the comments below if you would like that. When it comes to companion, everyone have their favorite companion. My favorite is Yareli Prime. Cordon to pull enemies, Vacuum for the loot, Assault to attack, Duplex for the clones, Manifold for more Cordon, Shield, Armor, Health, Fire Rate, and critical damage. If you have 50% plus critical chance on your Sentient, my Sentient is Virglas Prime, but you need a Riven. Otherwise, you can run the Prime Razor Rifle, Full Cloak, or Burst Laser Prime, and you'll be good pretty much to go. So, now, let's go to... Before that, because a lot of times would ask, I run Madurai when I'm going to Void Cascade because the Void Strike, and I run 177 AMP. 177 is the code of the tier of the AMP in case you're a new player. 1 is Raplak Prism from Cetus, and 77 Certus Blaze and Propa Scaffold from Fortuna. My Arcanes, Eternal Onslaught, Eternal Eradicate, Magus Elevate, and Magus Lockdown. In case you wanted to know, let's go to Simulacrum and check her performance. And first thing, we're going to remove the Sentient, like so. And we're going to be using our Compressor as our signature weapon for today's showcase. And we will summon level 230 Heavy Corrupted Gunners. How I can summon level 230? The higher master you get, the higher level of enemies you can summon in Simulacrum. Now, we're going to get just some energy from here for time's sake. And then we're going to cast Merlina. As you can see, Merlina is not rideable anymore because we're using the Augment. And as you can see, she's CCing those guys and making them more vulnerable to damage. Same thing if you cast the first ability. As you can see right there, she's casting the first ability instead of you. There you go. Now, Condemn, on the other hand, will lock down those enemies with these chains and will get you your energy. And the fourth ability, check this out. Mamma mia. It's really, really powerful stuff. Now, press her, and they're just gone. Simple as that. So, how you actually play her? Very simple. So, let's summon those enemies once more. And then, we let them wander around and try to attack us. Boom. Okay, same thing. Casting Merlina. Every time we shield gate. Now, we have the Arcane Aegis active. Means we technically can't die. Look at that. We're good to go. Now, if you want, you can cast the Condemn. So, boom, boom, boom. CC. So, now every time we reach the gate, hope they attack us. Come on, guy. Come on. There you go. Cast Merlina. 4 seconds. You're regenerating your shields. And game math doesn't fail. Again. Boom, 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 boom. Can we reach the gate? Go. Taking a second. Come on, come on, come on. Ah. Arcane Aegis active means we can die technically. Roll guard to cleanse yourself from the puncture and slash. Fourth ability like so. Merlina. Boom. Compressor. I mean, it's just really easy and very powerful Warframe despite whatever everyone else is telling you. And she can work pretty much with any helmet ability as long you know where you're going and how far you're taking her. And that's very, very important. Now, as a conclusion, I would give Yareli Prime, I would say 7 out of 10. Really amazing Warframe, and she's worth investing. As long as you understand her and you understand how shield works in the game, you'll be good to go and she will not fail you. I want to say thank you so much for making it this far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Join my Discord link in the description. What the heck? That's crazy. And I want to say special thanks to Hall of members, special VIPs, and distributor donator, and Hall of donations, and everyone in my community. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, Compressor and Daiku builds in the channel.